Good day everyone and welcome to our Theonos YouTube channel, and we're so excited to announce that we recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that, and I want to encourage you to keep sharing, to keep subscribing. Help us now to get to 2,000. Today I have a very interesting and very exciting conversation with Heidi Mollentze on Christianity, the spotlight, and the world of fame. This is a very, very interesting conversation that you're going to love so much. Before we get there, I want to thank everybody that's giving financially to Theonos, those who are watching on YouTube, those who are joining our live session. We are actually, at the moment, we are busy growing, expanding our ministry so that we can help more people, serve more people, and your giving helps us to do that. If you want to contribute, our banking details will be on the screen, and you will help us to go forward and to help more people. Well, without taking any more of your time, here is my interview with Heidi Mollentze. In English things, probably you have. I just haven't seen them. A lot.
Yes, I have. You know what? I think my work is 60% English, 40% Afrikaans. Yeah,
no
interesting. Irish? No.
That's no
Irish. Oh, that was a dreadful accent. Sorry.
What's the language they speak in Ireland?
It's Gaelic. So I
don't
know if it's really a language. You get Welsh Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, and Scottish Gaelic. Yes, okay. It's those old, melodic, beautiful, kind of medieval languages. Oh, it's so beautiful on the ear. It all has this beautiful melody to it.
Okay. Well, I've seen Heidi in an Afrikaans series when I was very young.
Yes. It was a kind of a naughty series.
Yeah, that's why we're not naming it.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah. I was 16 back then. Heidi was
on 17.
How old were you? Like 30, 26, 27?
At the moment or then?
No, then.
No, but I'm going to date myself. Oh, come on, Albert. I can't tell people how old I am. You know what? I am eternally 34.
I'm not asking how old you are. I'm asking how old you were at that time. They don't know what year the series aired.
Round about, I don't remember. I think round about 30.
Yeah.
30, she played 32.
She played a ghost called Beauty. We just spoke about it.
I played my own twin sister who had passed. You need to explain. And then
I'm afraid if I explain to a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that series.
So I was my own identical twin. It's like a proper soapy, right? Okay. You know, they do that in the soapies. Like it's the same actor, so you're playing identical twins. And I must say technology has developed quite a bit from when we did that, or those scenes with me playing my own twin. Yeah, it was hard work, and it was so primitive. You know, I had to do the one, then I had to do the other. Whereas these days, you know, I'm sure it's much easier. I think somebody should give me another opportunity to play my own twin. Yes, out there. So I can see.
I'll see if I can find anybody.
Yes, but we put it out there now.
Yeah, now everybody knows. So this is about Heidi wanting to play her own twin. Say, well, I twin spiel.
I just want to check out the new technology, people. Really?
Yeah. So I remember there was this one movie, I think it was the Avengers, and they asked this one guy how, because I think it was made during COVID, and they asked the one guy, like, how was it to play, like, to act with this person and what kind of person it is? And he's like, I don't know, we've never met. We shot the scenes at our own hometowns, and then the technology brought it together. So it's like two people who was like acting in the same movie for like hours, and they've never met each other in person.
That's right. That is true. That happens. I've also had family members. I've also had friends, best friends, love interests, and so on, but I've never met them in person. Or I walk past them every now and then in the corridors on the way to makeup, but you never with them in front of the camera.
Well,
it's bizarre.
I don't know if you know who Jay Shetty is. I watch a lot of his podcasts.
Yes,
Have you seen the one where he interviewed Emma Watson?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't.
Yeah. So she actually left her acting career. It was very interesting why. Maybe we should speak about that as well.
Yes.
So what we're going to speak about today, we're going to speak about, kind of like pursuing the spotlight, pursuing things like approval addiction. So for those of you who are watching, this is what Heidi and I'm going to speak about. But what I remember, what Emma said is she said one of the big reasons she got into acting is she thought that she's going to make a lot of friends on set, like these actors that she's going to meet. They were going to become best friends. And she was like, it was so, I don't know how it is in your experience, but she said it was like almost so cold and clinical, like do your thing and go back to your hotel room. Was it like that? Or is it like that?
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, shame. I'm just thinking, poor Emma, what a disillusion.
No. But one thing that I picked up is so we're speaking about kind of like the seeking for approval, and when I speak about the spotlight, I told you this, that I'm writing a book about the whole idea of the spotlight. And when I speak about the spotlight, I'm not referring to a literal spotlight necessarily, but I'm speaking about this metaphorical spotlight that the world out there puts on you, on who they expect you to be, and you have to perform in the spotlight idea. So what I've seen that she and I think many other people communicate is that it's not just on set that you have to perform, but it's almost like as if the directors and the writers expect you to perform a certain way, even when people come to you in public and they ask you questions and they speak about movies and they speak about things. It's almost like as if you've been have to be prepared on what to say. And one thing that a lot of people say is like you get to a place where you don't know who you're allowed to be anymore, on camera and off camera. Have you ever identified with that?
Yeah, you see, the thing is, and people who are not in this world, and maybe Emma before she entered this world, is people tend to forget that this is a job. This is my job. I go to work. I am at work and I do there what I'm supposed to do to the best of my ability. And then I come home and I prepare for the next day's job or the next day's work that I have to do. So people must remember that. I don't know if you're an office worker or if you are a teacher or if you are I don't know what else to mention as examples. Any job, do you go to your job expecting to make these friends? And so that's the other side of the coin. Having said that, when we are at our job, what makes it so different is that we work with emotions. So we always have to be very in tune with a character's emotions. We have to listen, especially when you're on camera. It's very clear when you're acting opposite somebody, but they're not really listening to you. And you can't flip a switch and switch your body or your brain off and say, okay, don't feel, don't listen, don't participate. The famous example that I have is Sir Anthony Hopkins, and he was shooting a film one day during which one of the scenes he has a heart attack and the character dies, right?
Was it Meet Joe Black?
And he said to the director that I am only shooting this scene once. That is another thing that people don't know, is that we shoot many things many times over, many times. There is no such thing. Maybe if you're on film and you're on location, there can be a one take. But even if you do the perfect take, that's only one angle. Now you have to redo everything exactly the same way with exactly the same emotions to get the other angles. So he said, I'm not rehearsing this for you. I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it when the camera's on me, and that is once, because my brain and my body, my physical body, my heart doesn't know that this is pretend. My body feels
Wow.
because we do it so for real, that our bodies believe it. Our bodies are living that moment. Our brains are living that moment. I've played very recently a character with a terminal disease, and it was very difficult to do that. It was very hard to do that, because you have to time and pace. How much will I be sick today? How much more or less is it from where I played yesterday? What location am I in? My body doesn't know that that's not real. And because we internalize everything so much, I think, and because we work with the emotions, we give the emotion because we think the character's thoughts. And then we have the character's feelings. Feelings don't come by themselves. And then, according to the feelings, we can then act. So it's not just pretend, it is becoming and then showing.
Yeah.
So I think that is why our job is so different, and why maybe people expect to have more friends or to make more friends when they are on set or when they are in the performer's world, is because of the emotions. It gives the illusion of things being real. It gives the illusion that you are being heard. It gives the illusion that you are in a group, that you are accepted, that you are connected. It's a false sense of belonging, because it's just all play. That was a long-winded answer, hey?
Yeah, I have two things that I want to say. The first one is not so important, but I'm going to say that first. But I don't think I've ever told you this. My favorite movie in the world is Legends of the Fall with Anthony Hopkins. I don't know if that's the movie you were referring to, because I think in the movie also got a heart attack somewhere, and he didn't get a heart attack, he got a stroke. But my favorite movie in the world is Legends of the Fall. The other thing I wanted to say, a same podcast with Jay Shetty, when he spoke to Emma, he said something very interesting. He said he has this friend who's an actor, very famous actor. He didn't say who the person was, but he said for every 100 people that would ask his friend for an autograph and a photo, there will be one person that asks Jay for a photograph and an autograph. And Jay said this actor friend said to him, "Jay, you're so lucky." And he said he immediately assumed it was because he wasn't, he was more anonymous. And he said, the reason I'm saying you're so lucky is because all of the people who asks me for my autograph does it for who I pretend to be. But everybody who asks you asks it because of who you truly are.
Absolutely. And that is beautiful. And that's very real and true. When dating, for example, if I introduce myself as an actress, if this person doesn't know what I do for a living, in 30 seconds, I've been Googled and people think they know me. Very few people actually take the time to sit down with me and with a clean slate, actually talk to me and have a conversation with me and connect with me without the preconceived idea that they are bringing to the table. And I think that is why performers are very much inclined to stick together. You'll see if we're a bunch of actors together, we are happy because we're all then everybody's the same.
Okay.
But when it's people from outside, mostly people from outside tend to think, and this is not, I don't want to make it sound like it's annoying or irritating or upsetting or anything. It's not. It's just a plain cold fact. There's nothing wrong with it. My face is on TV. It's fine. But people think they know you. If they see you every day in their living room, of course you'll think you know them.
And I think a big part of the spotlight idea for people is not just fame itself, but knowing somebody who has fame. I think a lot of people can sometimes take pride in the fact that I can say, I know this person. Because I've interviewed some people on my channel who's like, kind of like they're on television, they are well-known writers, and then people will ask me like, what is this person like? How are they? And I say, like, well, honestly, I really don't know them. I just had that one interview with them.
Yes.
And I think, does it also happen that people, because they think they know you, they expect you're going to act in a certain way that you don't, that you really don't? And how does it affect you, if I may ask?
Because I've always steered clear of playing long-term characters, as in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. People don't expect of me to behave like a certain character, whereas there are many actresses and actors that do it for such a long time, so they become synonymous with that character. For them, that's their story. And by the way, I would love to be on TV for one specific character now, that I'm ready age-wise. I'm not dissing it. I would love to do that now. Anybody out there, please bring it. 5, 6 years, one character, I'd love to. But I've always bounced between different characters. So people always expect me. Now, again, when I say people, I don't mean my close friends. I don't mean my family. I don't mean my colleagues. I mean just Joseph, right? Yeah. When we're walking on the street, expect me to be like the character I'm currently playing. So that's different every 3 months. So yes. Back in the day, I played a baby broker on Generations, when it was still the old Generations. And I'm also from Bloemfontein, as you know, and I went down to visit my mom and my dad for a bit, and I went out shopping to a mall, and I went into the bathroom in the mall, into the toilet and then as I came out, there were so many women outside this stall.
It happens to me too. And I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
But you also chased. So the women were standing there. They noticed me go in, and the character was downright evil. Downright evil. She was horrendous. And they literally came to call me out on it. People cannot draw the distinction between the character and the real life. Even before that, I played somebody in Igoli, which was at that time the only soap we had on South African television. And I played somebody who broke up somebody's marriage. And this was like the darling couple of Igoli. And I played almost a prosy kind of girl, and broke up their marriage, made everything far worse. And I went to a shopping mall here in Johannesburg, and I was standing paying for something in the queue, and an old lady just smacked me. She just smacked me. And she said, "How dare you do that? How dare you break up these people?" So people think that the way that character is behaving, that is my behavior.
So,
but as soon as you speak to me, and that's why I try and always just take the time and connect with somebody and look into their eyes, because then it's like, oh yes, it's just a story. This is the real person. And that just takes a split second. So if you just like connect, people know, people get it. Yeah.
I want to speak about serving Christ in the industry, because because as I'm listening to you, I think that might be kind of like, I think, difficult sometimes, because you are a woman of faith and you're not ashamed of it, and you're still in the industry.
Yes.
I don't really know what I'm asking. Can you maybe elaborate on my statement?
Let me elaborate on what you are asking. Yes, 10, 20, 30 years ago, it was much harder being a Christian, being a child of God in this industry.
Why,
Much
if I may ask,
harder. Uh,
why was it harder?
and I don't know. I don't know. There's been a bit of a revival. There's
Okay.
been a bit of an uplifting. I think there were more people who had courage to be what they really are.
Mhm.
Um, I was unfortunately not one of the ones who had courage first. Other
Okay.
people had courage first, and then that made it easier for people like me to come along and say, hang on, me too. Now can we now talk about that? Okay, cool.
Mm.
And you know what changed as well, especially the younger generation, especially the men.
Mm.
They tend to come out and just be children of God, just princes of sons of the king running around here, and they're not scared to say it. It's so admirable. I'm talking 18, 19, 20, 21, round about there. It's young. It's very
Mm.
young. Oh, these days everybody's younger than me, but that's young. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
and that is a remarkable thing. That's quite unique. I never
Mm.
thought I'd see that. So I can just say I think God happened in the
Mm.
industry. And somebody had the courage to just say it. And then a lot of us just went, whew, now we can breathe. Let's talk. I don't know if that's a satisfactory answer, but
A
but
satisfactory answer.
yeah.
Like, if somebody asked me, how was your interview with Heidi? I got a satisfactory answer. That's Gaelic.
Was that satisfactory, darling?
I think I think a lot of times it's like because I think with my business, let me just say this. I have this business called Mind Prosperity where I go around, I speak about the mind, I speak about the emotions, and initially I wanted to do this in churches. Now I'm going into very dangerous ground, Heidi. I hope you are
Yes,
okay with
I
this.
hear it. I see it
Mm.
coming.
Yeah.
Danger zone approaching.
So in the beginning it was almost like as if the Christian community was very, I don't know if the word is closed or skeptical or
Mm.
about the whole idea of mind, emotions, emotional healing. And still today, it's kind of like you face a lot of challenges with it. So at that time, I was like, and we're speaking on my ministry channel, so I'm going to say a lot of vulnerable things now.
Yes.
I started the business because I could see how many businesses are really open to the idea of speaking about a healthy mindset, emotional intelligence. The
Mm.
church I'm in now, my pastor and some of the leadership, they are so supportive of me, and this is why I can be in the church that I am in right now. And I think there was like 4 or 5 times where I thought like I'm just going to close the ministry and carry on with the business. I'm going to be a
Mm.
child of God. I'm going to be a believer. But I just know a big part of my calling is to teach the body of Christ on
Mm.
mindset and emotional intelligence, emotional healing. And for me, sometimes it was very, very difficult because I thought like, I people coming to me saying to me that I'm busy with demonic work because I'm
Yes.
busy with the
Yes.
yeah. So I think this is why I'm asking the question, and I think a lot of times just doing what you are called to do um,
Yes.
gets a lot of backlash, and not from the world,
Yes.
but from
Yes.
people of faith. And I was just
Yes.
wondering what kind of things you deal with in that area and how do
Yes.
you handle it?
Absolutely. And now we must just say for those who don't know that I lead a double life. Okay. So I'm an actress and stage, screen, radio, love it. That's my one life. My other life, I'm a coach. I'm a communication skills expert. I'm that kind of person as well, and love that, love that. So those are two lives. I'm merging them. That's
So you
great.
actually have a twin.
I am my own double. I've been cloned. And I'm playing her.
So who are we speaking to right now?
Yeah, you know, that is the just to interrupt myself, you'll remind me what we were busy with, but I have to tell you this. I think any actress's pet peeve is when you are making a new friend or new friends, new people at a bar or whatever, or dating somebody new, and they say, but you're not really yourself now because you actresses, you're always pretending, aren't you? I just want to say something I'm not supposed to say when people.
Let's say it.
So my answer is always this.
They're going to be angry with me. It's fine.
I always say like this. Are you paying me? And then they go, no. So I said, then I won't be acting for you. See? So this is me. Take it or leave it. So
what if they pay for dinner?
The difficulties in like, I feel like I've got double difficulties because it's this thing about life coaching and how can you work with those things and how can you bring in a mindset and so, but you say you're a Christian, how can you constantly pretend to be somebody else and take money for it, but you say you're a Christian? That's fake, it's plastic. So I'm getting it from both sides, and my answer is just this: I am at peace. You know, entertainment is, let's handle the acting side. Entertainment is one of the oldest things ever done. Jesus spoke. He stood on in front of people. He stood on the boat. He had a platform. He was speaking. He was explaining things. He was teaching things. Jesus had emotions. God gave us emotions. God gave us a mind. God gave us, he put us together, he wove us together before the existence of time, before the existence of the world. He knew we were going to be here as Heidi and Albert. This is who they are. This is what they're going to talk about, all our little nuances. People who distance themselves from a mindset and the way that we think and the wiring of the brain is like, it's not new age. God made us like this.
Yeah.
And I think in business, people think that and I'm thinking of your dilemma, you know, where people think, no, this doesn't belong. It's not supposed to be here. It's not business. It is. It's part of you. You cannot separate your business mind from your feeling mind. Can you do that? If you can, you're an AI tool. Seriously. You are one big unit, you one big whole. Yeah. So things are woven together whether you like to know it or not. Don't you think people are a little scared of what you have to say initially because they think it's new age?
I don't really know what new age means. Honestly, I don't, because I have heard
Crystal
people say
airy fairy.
Yeah, I've heard people say if you speak about mind and emotions, it's new age. I was actually speaking to one of my pastor friends, and he said something that really got me thinking. Because he was like a missionary in Singapore for like 20 years, and he said to me, you know, there are people. He said to me, there are people who say, and I've heard this teaching before of, you know, you are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. Yeah. And he said to me later, he realized it's not like that, because he said you are spirit, you are soul, and you are body. You are all three. It's not like you can separate it.
Yes.
And then we spoke about coffee. I drink my coffee black because I drink good coffee. But for those who put milk and sugar in their coffee,
why? People stop drinking bad coffee. I'm also a coffee snob. I'll say it. Coffee snobs unite.
So we were sitting in this place and I was thinking about coffee. If you have coffee with milk and sugar in it, there's no way you can, there's sugar in, there's milk in, there's coffee in, but there's no way you can separate the three anymore and exactly say, So I came to a place where I realized, like you are saying, um, the spirit and the soul and the body is all part of us. And the way I can prove it is even what you eat will influence your soul and your spirit. Even the way you
Yes.
exercise will, the way you treat your body will literally influence your soul and your spirit.
Yeah.
And this is just why I realized, like, this is something that has to be taught, that you have to take. Now, I'm not saying your soul is your spirit.
No.
There is a Bible scripture that says the word of God can cut between the two. So I'm not saying they're the same thing. I'm just saying everything is part of who you are.
Yes.
And I believe if you go to when you go to heaven, if when you go to heaven, it's not just the one part that goes. I believe your soul goes with you. I believe you get a new body. That's in the Bible, that you will get a resurrected body.
Yes.
And I just think that, and my part is the soul part that I have to teach on. I have to teach people on mindset and emotions. I believe if you are called to be a doctor, to work on people's physical bodies, if you are called to be a nutritionist, to work on people's physical bodies, that is your calling. That's
Yes.
100% your godly calling, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it.
Absolutely. And likewise, the people that you work with, the businesses, the clients, um, should understand that what you are doing is you're working on one part of them, but that work that we
Mm.
do it infiltrates in the most beautiful way the whole rest of your existence.
Mm. There's we've spoken about this earlier before we pushed record. Um, there's a scripture in the Bible that I'm doing a series on it now with my group. Mark 4:13, Jesus
Mm.
makes the statement and he says, if you do not understand this parable, how would you understand all of the other parables? And for me, this is like, okay, wow, this is something that needs to be understood. If you say, if you don't understand this, how would you understand anything else? This parable needs to be understood. So in this parable, he speaks about 4 types of soils. And these 4 types of soils speaks about the condition of the souls of people. So what he's saying is the sower sows the word, and that is, you can refer to the word of God and you can refer to spirit that God sows into you. And then the soil part, he speaks about soul. Now, any good gardener will tell you, you cannot just plant a seed, you have to prepare the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Any good farmer will tell you, you cannot just plant the seed, you have to prepare the soil. So a lot of times I believe in churches and in the Christian world, we get all of these seed,
Yeah.
and we're wondering, but why is nothing growing? Because we
Yeah.
never get into the presence of God and say, but work on our souls. Now, what is your soul? It's your mind and your emotions. It's the way you think and the way you feel. He speaks about these 4 types of soils. And the first one, he says, the birds come and they snatch it up. So
Mm-hmm.
good seed is sown into you, but it's taken away. The second one, he speaks about stony ground. That's the deep insecurities that you don't want to deal with.
Yes, that's
The,
hard. So the thing can't penetrate the seed.
yeah, and then the third one he speaks about is the tares and the thorns, which is the cares of the world. And the fourth one, he speaks
Suffocating.
about good soil. Yeah,
Yes,
so this is what gets me so passionate about speaking about this, because the condition of your soul is actually important.
absolutely. Um, and what is that verse? You will prosper even as your soul prospers,
Yeah,
right?
funny enough, that's where I got the name for my company and my ministry. So it's
Oh, good.
yeah,
So
3
you're
John verse
very
2.
familiar with that. So firstly, the soul has to prosper.
Yeah. So
Even
this is
as your
that.
soul prospers, it doesn't go the other way around. The soul must start. That's where we start. That's where the heart and the internalizations and so on, finding the fertile soil.
Yeah. So very interesting is that word for soul that says as your soul prospers. That word for soul is a Greek word psyche, which speaks about your mind.
You see now,
Yeah.
it gets
And
even better.
yeah, and that's where I got the name of my company, Mind Prosperity.
Yes.
It's from that verse. And then the ministry name, Theonos, is 2 Greek words, theos and nous. Theos means God, nous means the mind, which is the mind of God, and just saying that we want to direct people to Christ-like thinking. So the
Yes.
condition of your soul is very important. And this is why I love what you said about peace. I have peace, so it's okay.
Yes. Yes. I have peace. There's a lot to be said for peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding. And I've seen also now over always, mostly, but also very much so over the last 2 or so weeks. I switch things off. I don't want to hear, because I need to listen to that still small voice. And sometimes you have to be very, very, very intentional, because there are things I wanted to hear, things I needed to know, things I needed guidance on, and there was only one place I could get it. And that's from Holy Spirit. So I had to be very quiet so that there can be that dialogue. I don't know why I just told you this. Something you said triggered me to say this, but yeah, that's quiet your mind, quiet, be still, listen, be intentional, so that you can know what to do, where to go.
I actually told people in the series that I'm doing, because right before this, I also did a series on the fruit of the Spirit, and it was a whole series. I actually sent it a booklet. I wrote a booklet about it, and I took every single one of the fruits of the Spirit separately, and I taught on it. And I said to people, how many times do we go in the morning and we pray for what we want? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything bad about that. It's good, and I want to encourage people to do that. But what if we can, and I think this is what you were referring to, what if we can go into prayer, and rather than saying, give me what I want, we pray about preparation. Prepare my mind, heal my soul. What do you think about that? Do you think, like, when you speak about still small voice, quietness, and not just praying for what you want, but actually allowing God to work on your soul?
It's beautiful, and it just brings me to a reminder, and that is that prayer is supposed to be a two-way conversation.
Brilliant.
It's not just you speaking and asking for things. And once again, please, if you can't ask God, then who can you ask? So yes, you must ask the desires of your heart, but don't forget, it's a two-way conversation. And if you shut your mouth
and your thoughts,
switch this stuff off, and even music sometimes needs to be, even worship music sometimes needs to be switched off. You need quiet. Even worship music will take you on that journey. And yes, it's a beautiful and a good journey, but maybe you need to just focus this direction before you listen to your music again. So it's just, for me, it's always a two-way street, a two-way traffic. Of course, I'm not perfect. Of course, I do it badly. Of course, I drive in my car sometimes and just go, why? I hate this. I don't want this. Yes, I have those moments. Just like, I cannot take this anymore.
And I think those moments are, I always say, before you sow seed into the soil, you have to get rid of some things that were planted, and you have to acknowledge them. And I think that's exactly what you are doing when you are saying, because we have this thing, we need to speak about this. I know I'm asking a lot of questions now. We had a list before, remember? We didn't even get to the list, but anyway.
I think we're doing great. You know what? We can always do a second conversation.
Oh, yeah. That would be lovely. Actually, I have an idea, but I'll speak to you about this after this.
Okay.
About the idea. We can maybe do it in the future. But what I was thinking is...
Makes me so nervous when somebody says, I'll speak to you later. Okay.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah.
I will, I promise. But,
what I want to say, it's like when somebody says, we need to talk, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you badly.
No, I was just thinking, okay, but we'll speak later then about that. Anyway, in a Christian world, because I think it's very important to acknowledge what's going on, like you just said, acknowledging this is a bad day, I cannot do this anymore. I think it's sometimes important. I'm not saying we should dwell on that and stay, but also like in the Christian community, there's this idea of don't say anything negative ever. You can just say to somebody, yes, I'm tired today. Don't speak death over your life.
Yes.
I'm not speaking death over my life. Okay,
No,
so what do you think? What do you think about that?
Yes, but I so agree with you. It's like somebody breaks their arm. Okay, it's in a sling. And you're like, no, my arm's not broken. I'm speaking life over my arm.
Yeah.
It's not broken. Dude, be realistic. Okay? Yeah. You can pray for quick healing. You can pray for a miracle. Absolutely, you can. But at the moment, there's no denial. Your arm is broken. It's toxic religiosity. Is that a word?
I actually want to speak about or tell you about a book. I don't think the author is a Christian, but there's a book called, and I think you should read this for your industry. It's called Toxic Positivity by Whitney Goodman.
Yes, yes.
So
toxic positivity. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, toxic positivity is like kind of like everything must always be okay, and you must only speak and think positive. Yes. Now, I want to use the.
I actually feel ill just thinking about it. It's dreadful.
Yeah,
dreadful.
I want to use the broken arm example. So a toxic positivity is exactly that. That says, listen, my arm is not broken. There's nothing wrong with my arm. I have to. I believe in speaking life. I'm not saying. So yes. This is. Let me use some unhealthy examples and then a healthy example. An unhealthy example will be to be negative all the time. Everything is bad. All churches are bad. All Christians are bad. The world is bad. The government is bad. That's not healthy. That's negative speaking, negative thinking. Another thing that's also negative is to almost like think faith is denying what's happening. And it's like you can never be tired. You can never be negative. You can never be sad. You know, if you just say something is happening, you're speaking negative and you're speaking death. That's also not healthy. But here's a healthy way. A healthy way is to say, you know, I acknowledge my arm is broken.
Yes.
I acknowledge there's pain. I acknowledge I'm going to go through a process of healing for a few months. I acknowledge I'm going to have to take some medication and I have to do some exercises for my arms. But I do trust God that I'm going to come out of this stronger. I do trust God that I'm going to fully heal. I do trust God that I can use this. Yeah.
Yes, and I can say my brain, I'm an incurable optimist. Incurable. You can't stop my optimism. But I have limits where it comes to this toxic stuff. The second you said, okay, it's going to take a few months to heal, I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask God for it to just be as quick as possible as he wants to make it. So that's where I will get my hopes up. Yes, it's going to be a process, but I'm hoping it can be faster or fast-tracked. That would be a miracle for me.
I've played paddle a lot this week and my legs are so sore, like really, and I'm playing again tonight. So
yes, you go for it.
Yeah, and I've used BCAA and foam rolling and stretching, and today I'm going to do an ice bath. But my legs are still sore, you know.
That's it. Yes.
And for me to act like it's not will be a lie. No, what I'm having faith for is that I can play the game properly tonight, because it's going to be difficult standing up from this chair after this. But yeah, and I think it's just like that, you know. Do what you can. Always do what you can.
Yes.
Do what you can, because doing what you can do is a part of faith. So
do your best. Do your best.
Definitely.
Just always, I always said, I was a university lecturer for 7 years, and I always say to my students, you must do your best. Your best is required, but perfection is not required.
Yeah.
Stop chasing perfection. Do your best.
There's actually, okay, so one thing that I want to say before I get to the quote, there's a very interesting quote from Neil Diamond. Would love to hear what you think about that. And then I want to ask you one last question. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 6, Paul makes the statement. He says, I planted, Apollos watered, God brought the increase. And what the scripture is telling me is God will always do what you cannot do, because you cannot make the seed grow. But he'll never plant the seed for you, and he'll never water the seed for you.
Yes.
And I think,
Yes.
trusting God after you planted the seed, not trusting God to plant the seed for you. There's this quote by Neil Diamond. It's in one of his songs. His song is called "If I Don't See You Again."
Mm.
He know the song, and these lines in the song just like hit very hard. He said, "It's time to say goodbye, because if I stay for too long, you'll get to know me too well and find that something is wrong."
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think a lot of times this toxic positivity is just
Mm.
hiding actual vulnerability, and you need vulnerability to
Yes.
build connections.
Yes. And sometimes you just a healthy dose of illusionment, you're just disillusioned. You just disillusioned. But it's true. You don't want to face things. And why don't you want to face things? Because it hurts too much. And
Very
that's your
good.
vulnerable stuff. It's too sore to
Yeah.
stop and really actually sit with your emotions. What I want to say to you about the Corinthians verses that you mentioned, yes, you must plant. Yes, you must do what you can, water those seeds. That's your job. You must do what you know to do. The outcome isn't your job.
100%. Yeah,
Outcome is God's job.
I want to add on what you said about showing your hurts and or being okay with, because healing hurts sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
There's a story in the Bible. The story of Lazarus,
Yeah.
where they had to roll away the stone, and they said when they rolled away the stone, there was a bad smell, and then he called
Yes.
Lazarus forth. Now, the way I always teach this is I say, for our Lazarus to come forth, whatever your internal Lazarus might be, for your Lazarus to come forth, the stone has to be rolled away. That's vulnerability and honesty. But as soon as the stone is rolled away, it reeks. There's a smell, there's hurt, there's pain. And so I think a lot of people, they want Lazarus to rise, but they still want to keep the stone, because
Yes.
nobody should see the bad.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I so want people to remember this, that feeling the feelings can't hurt you. Not
Definitely.
feeling the feelings is going to hurt you. So sit with the feelings. What happened, happened. But feeling is not going to hurt you. You need to feel them so that you can know what it is that you are dealing with. You can only deal with something if it has a name. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. Whatever it is, pinpoint it, label it, at the risk of sounding clinical. Label it. Now you're going to be able to deal with it. If I tell you, oh, you have to deal with that actress, like, what does that mean to you? But if I say to you, you have to deal with that actress Heidi, now you know what you're dealing with. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we look at the word vulnerability, the word von comes from the wound. So vulnerability means the ability to show your wound. And I think this is one of the most difficult things out there for people today, because, remember long ago when you wanted to take a photo, you would go into the studio and they would take one photo and you had to wait how many weeks for it to develop.
Yes, first you must wait until the spool thingy until the roll is full. So now you're taking photographs now added onto last year's December holiday, and then possibly also some kids' graduation from primary school 6 months prior to that. So by the time you get these things developed, you hand it in and then it's 2 weeks and then they develop it for you in the dark room, right? So I'm like, you're like, oh, look at all these pictures. I forgot we were here.
I forgot we were here. So today, it's like you take 10 photos with your phone. You can see them right now. If it's not perfect, you can pose a bit, and then you can edit it.
Yes.
And this is why I'm saying it's so difficult today to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because you always have to give off this perfect image. And what I've realized is this perfect image. I use this example a lot of Clark Kent, you know who Clark Kent is, and Superman. You know, people don't know that Clark Kent and Superman is actually the same person, because people shouldn't know that the Albert that speaks at Mind Prosperity about emotional intelligence can lose his temper. So I think that is one thing that I would like to say, and I want to give out today, is like that whole spotlight idea can even be a calling, but it can never replace the true you, and it can never replace, because you cannot build close relationships from that. You can only build close relationships from the true you, and that's what eventually is going to make you happy.
Yes, from the true you. Ultimately, it's up to you. Ultimately, it's up to each person to decide for themselves. Am I going to be brave enough to be me?
Am I going to be brave enough to be me? I love that. Heidi, one last question. Now I took a lot of your time. Tell us about your 21-day challenge course, and where can people hear more about it?
They can WhatsApp me. You can go onto my social media. It's everywhere. 21 days to your best year. So it's 21 days of coaching. I'm so blessed. I'm a multiple international award-winning lifestyle coach. So I'm taking world-class coaching, a 10-minute or just under 10-minute audio every day on a WhatsApp group, a private group that you pay for, and then I add you to the group, so you get your coaching for the day. You get a little takeaway document, and you get one action step to help you keep momentum. It's from 14 December to 3 January. I've done it like that so that people can go into the new year with amazing clarity, with motivation, with strength, with courage. I hope to see you there. Please log on to my social media. I'd welcome you to join us. So
they can just type in on social media Heidi Mollentze, and they will find the information.
That's it. Or pop me a WhatsApp, 079-815-6305.
Heidi, thank you so much for today. I really loved and enjoyed this conversation. Sorry we didn't get to the questions.
We'll have to make another plan for our questions.
Yeah. I actually have an idea that I want to do in the near future. I'll communicate it to you now. Awesome. But thank you so much for being on. I really enjoyed this, and thank you for what you are doing. And I said this to you the first time we met. When I was 16 years old, I watched some of the shows that you were on, and if I could tell my 16-year-old self, you're going to speak with Heidi Mollentze one day.
It was such a joy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Heidi. We'll see you soon again.
Cheers.